All right, welcome everyone to the Bugyan podcast. In this podcast, as everyone knows, we invite security leaders, large, big bug bounty hunters, as well as CISOs to come and share their experiences in the cybersecurity space so that we as security engineers or even CISOs can learn from their experiences and apply them in real life. Today is something different. We actually have a founder coming on the podcast, Ajit. Ajit is the co-founder of PureID, which is a startup working in the identity and access management space. Ajit has spent over a decade in the overall, software engineering and cybersecurity space. He's been a mentor to many other cybersecurity startups and has certainly helped us out on every opportunity he's got. He is also one of the co-founders of the very popular Null open source community, which many of you may be familiar with, which is one of the most structured communities in the cybersecurity space in India. And Ajit had previously worked at Citrix as a security product manager and leading the entire security initiative for APAC. Pleasure having you here, Ajit.
Lovely talking to you, and an honor to be on this podcast. Thank you,
Thank
Dhruv,
you so
for
much.
inviting me. And I have always been very fond of the BugBase team and the kind of work you are doing. Congratulations for that, and looking forward.
Thank you so much, and we are looking forward to this as well. So, Ajit, I'll head right in. One of the very interesting things that has happened in India is the birth of the Null open source community, right? Wherein many security engineers have had a forum to go and share their knowledge with peers who understand cybersecurity, which didn't exist really beyond, say, the OWASP community that was there, which wasn't as structured previously. I would love to know a bit of background on how this came to form, how you were a part of it, and how did the whole thing come to life, which is today, of course, so large. And in Bangalore and Delhi, we see that it pulls hundreds of people coming in.
Oh yeah. So this is phenomenal, and
Mhm.
this is all community driven. It's not one person who is driving it or controlling it, right? So it's by the public participation, and it's totally open, right? Open and collaborative, right? So how we started it? So I was in IBM in 2008. So that's the time when we we were quite young, and in IBM I met my other co-founders, that is Asim Jakhar
Mhm.
and Murtuza Bharmal, right? So we had a lot of passion for security, and we used to learn many new things or research on a few very good uh, vulnerabilities, etc. And we used to discuss these things among us. Okay, now we used to think that if I know two things and you know two things, and if we come together and exchange that, then we both end up knowing four things, right?
Correct.
That's how the knowledge grows, right? So
Mhm.
we thought our knowledge input is limited by our network or our friend circle, right? So why don't we expand that, right?
Mhm.
So that's when we thought we'll reach out to other people or create a forum where others can also come share their learnings. We can share our learnings so that others are also motivated, right? And a free flow of information can happen. So this was our general thought. Then uh, Asim and Murtuza, they thought, yes, let's do that. So we were reaching out to all other conferences that were happening, and Asim was also presenting at Black Hat. We were presenting at even the local conferences here. So that's when we thought, yes, this is we are on the right track, and we see the absence of such organized community, right? So we started with this Null. So this name was given by Asim, and we started with this, right? And we started conducting small learning sessions in and around Pune, right? And since that initiative picked up a bit of momentum, that's when Akash from Bangalore said, "Hey, you guys are doing fantastic thing. Why don't you think of having chapters?" So
Mhm.
Asim said, "How we can have chapters?" Then he charted everything, right? He put up a proposal, and then Asim said, "Why don't you start a chapter in Bangalore?" Right? So he
Mhm.
he created a charter. So he started the beat at the Bangalore's, and Prashant KV, he brought the momentum. He brought the critical mass which was needed to take this to another level, right? So
Mhm.
all of the Infosys folks in his team, he literally pulled them, and
Yeah.
then Yeah, that's how the Bangalore chapter started, right? So we had a chapter in Pune, we had a chapter in Bangalore, and then as the rules were laid by, or the guidelines were laid by Akash, we started to have more chapters across India, and then right now we are almost everywhere globally. In Asia, India,
Even
we have.
internationally, I wasn't familiar.
Oh yeah. We had a chapter. We have a chapter in Dubai. We have chapter
Oh,
in
okay.
Singapore. Thanup Thomas was running that. Yeah. So now I need to check back how many chapters do we have, right? So
No, that talks to the scale that you guys have achieved.
oh yeah, because it was open, so anyone who is passionate can come be part of it and start this chapter locally, right? And since there weren't any commercial involved, it was very easy for people to set this up, right? So this is actually a phenomenon to see. If you give the liberty, if you are
Mhm.
inclusive, then how things can scale up rapidly, right? So this is a very good example of that.
Got it. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. That I think it speaks to India as a nation as well, where something like this, where there are already maybe international forums like of course B-sides and OWASP and all are there, but still something new that can come in, can take this approach and still blow up to the scale that it has. And that has helped us out with BugBase as well, where so many Indian bug bounty hunters have given us the opportunity to, of course, they've given us the honor of having them coming and testing on our platform, right? So it speaks to how the country, does have an Indian dream aspect to it as well, right? And of
Oh yeah.
course, the work that Asim, Murtuja, Akash, you, and everyone else in the Null founding team has done is phenomenal, right? I mean, I can't imagine not doing that would have been a crime to the security industry today, right?
If not us, then someone else would have done that. But then, since there was a such a big void, someone
Mhm.
would have filled in that void.
Of course, of course, Null, it's in the name, right?
Yes,
Perfect, perfect. Thank you for the answer, Ajit. I'll move on to the next question.
sure.
Now, coming to your work at Citrix before founding PureID, you were working, of course, with a large security team and working with multiple teams across the globe. Very curious to understand how that was like, right? Because of course, it's a senior security leadership job. And you are not a person who does not understand security from a fundamental level, right? You understand it and how the intricacies are, but looking at it from a top level is always different, right? You can't be looking at, okay, there's one XSS there that needs to be fixed. Or maybe you do, right? So very curious to see how, you looked at cybersecurity from the top level at Citrix. And also very curious to understand, how, since it's a, company that's working across multiple geographies,
Hmm.
were you taking care of only, say one team? And were you, staying awake at different hours of the night and controlling different teams? How did that whole process go? How did you manage it?
Oh yeah. So that was a very tiring and tasking kind of a job at Citrix, because I had team back in Bangalore, then we have team in Nanjing, and then we have a bigger team in US. So I was managing the team in India and Nanjing, that is in China, and then we were reporting to the team in US, right?
Mhm.
So time wise, yes, it was very demanding. But the good thing is I had an awesome team under me, and I had
Mhm.
an awesome boss at US, that is MJ, right?
Right.
So they were taking every care to make my life easier,
Mhm.
because initial coordination etc. was very difficult, and Citrix has so many products, and we were responsible for security of all these products,
Mhm.
right? So they made it easier for me,
Okay.
right? So I was just doing the coordination, right? And
Mhm.
kind of mostly kind of a rubber stamp. There were very limited areas where I could guide them, okay?
Mhm.
But I was kind of responsible for those for all their decisions that they make, and they were just informing me and making the decisions. I could add some little value because of my experience, but otherwise the team was exceptionally bright. Challenges when I was talking to Chinese team or the team in
Mhm.
China, their communication was a big problem. So we
Okay, okay,
used to
naturally.
communicate written. We used to have written communication so that they can type in their language and they can translate it and then send it over to me. And we could see there were many errors over there, but still
Yeah.
we could understand. So that delayed the communication. That sometimes couldn't convey what the person was saying accurately.
Mhm.
But yeah, we got accustomed to that, and then we figured our way out. But yeah, many a times it happened that we weren't able to know how
Mhm.
how our team is feeling. right? Because the work culture over there is totally different, and they had their own managers, and they will supersede whatever work uh, work commitments we demand, right? So they used to supersede that, right? And between their local manager and the manager from India, and instructions coming from US, we had no way to know how exactly they are feeling. Are they
Mhm.
exhausted? Are they enthusiastic about it? Do they want to contribute? Right. So their emotional state was something which we weren't aware of. I wish if I was aware of that, I could have been more empathetic to them. Right.
Mhm.
So definitely that was a challenge, and I would have been a better manager if I would have had little more understanding of their emotions. Right. That's something which I always feel.
Got it. No, I mean, I think that speaks to your, leadership skills, that you have that empathy towards, even if you're not sure if they were feeling, the best about what they were doing or not, you did want to find out, right? That speaks to,
Yes.
how a team should be led. And I think that's very important in the cybersecurity space, since you bring it up, because, job can be very taxing, because it's not something that is very straightforward, right? It's not something that can maybe have a direct ROI out of it, correct? It's often an
Right.
expense center for a company. And whenever your job is an expense center for the company, you must be delivering for you to stay at that company, right? So it just becomes a bit pressuring for many people on different ends, from the CISO level down to whoever is working on a security engineering. So I think mental health and seeing how well the team is performing is very important, and very interesting to see how you were able to tackle that in in working with people from China. So that's very, 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 very interesting. Got it. So Ajit, move on to my next question, which is
Uh-huh.
around red teaming and doing VAPT. Um, so of course you've been a part of multiple such engagements. You've done them probably yourself as well. Um, could you explain, so VAPT is something that has been happening for such a long time, right? That it has really become commoditized. I'm seeing vendors nowadays say 2,000 per VAPT.
Hmm.
Say like they're going out in a street market and selling it. Um, what do you think is the relevance of red team engagements coming in the play, and bug bounty engagements potentially coming in the play beyond what companies are doing with VAPT? And do you think it is a good step towards overall securing the company's infrastructures?
Right. Okay. So Dhruv, this is very important question that you have asked,
Mhm.
right? And we have been struggling with this question from 2012, right?
Perfect.
So we have been doing Nullcon since 2010, right? And in Nullcon, Antriksh started this segment where he would engage bug bounty companies like Bugcrowd, and Cobalt and HackerOne during that
Mhm.
time, and have an exclusive bug bounty conducted through a segment which we used to do those times called Jailbreak. So where
Okay.
we would choose some good hackers from the community who volunteered themselves for this segment, where
Mhm.
we put some say 7 8 bright hackers, young hackers, into a
Mhm.
cell, a jail, right? And they are handcuffed when they are brought in, right? And
Okay.
they have to solve some challenges to get the keys to free their handcuffs. And then every hour they are supposed to crack some code to get out pass so that they can access bathroom or toilet or kitchen,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And then they are confined to a cell where they have
Mhm.
to find bugs
Right.
in a given software, right? And we televise all that, and hourly I used to conduct drills, physical exercises, right? Give punishments to them, right?
Mhm.
So we wanted to popularize this exercise where people are finding bugs, right? And they are doing a responsible disclosure of whatever their findings are, right? So we wanted to popularize that, and we were giving the rewards which bug Buckrowd or Cobalt would offer, right?
Correct.
So in that sense, Antriksh was very very what you can say visionary in that sense
Mhm.
to popularize this. Okay, but unfortunately, I couldn't continue with that jailbreak format, right?
Mhm.
But then these companies, they saw that bug bounty and red teaming, it has huge potential, and they started something called as bounty craft, where um, they could come to India. Companies like Facebook, Microsoft, Google, Firefox, that is Mozilla Foundation, right? So all
Mhm.
these companies could form a consortium, okay,
Mhm.
and they named it as Bounty Craft,
Mhm.
and they they would conduct a separate segment at Nullcon where
Right.
they can meet all their star bug bounty hunters at that place and interact with them, understand their challenges, help them with better reporting of the bugs,
Mhm.
right? So they found that most of their contributors are from India, and they
Okay.
wanted to have direct communications with them, right? So
Mhm.
that's why they said that since this is very important for us, we'll set this bounty craft and regularly visit our contributors in India through Nullcon, right? So we saw that happening, that industry picking up, right? And since Indians are the major contributors,
Mhm.
we saw how their career has been transforming, how the best of the best bug bounty hunters were created in India.
Mhm.
So we are kind of witness through this platform to that, right? Now the importance, okay, so second hand experience was there because these companies who are coming here, they're investing, they were sponsoring Nullcon, so that itself underscored the importance of that. Now when
Right.
I went into Citrix, I saw the importance firsthand,
Mhm.
right, where our products needed uh, to be tested for security, right? And testing, people feel, can be shifted left. You can make developers accountable for the testing or the quality of the product, right? But security is something which you cannot, by any means, you cannot do left shift, or you
Correct.
cannot shift left. Okay,
Correct.
it has to be a motivated person outside of your organization, or someone who is not totally related to the development function. Only
Mhm.
he can try to break in, genuinely try to break in to your system, and
Right.
can show you where the loopholes are, where the
Mhm.
systems are vulnerable and can be exploited, right? Developers will have a bias that ye to chalta hi hai, and let's not test that.
Correct.
That will surely happen, and anyone in the company who knows the product or who has some understanding of the product will again have this bias, and he will
Mhm.
neglect few things, right? So you have to have a red team dedicated, just to highly motivated, just to break in the product and exploit it in whatever way possible, right? So I cannot emphasize more on the importance of red teamers, right? And now the bug bounty hunters, right? So the first of all, we need people 24 by 7 around the world to see our product, to analyze it for security vulnerabilities, right? And then report to us responsibly. So you should have a responsible disclosure uh, program published publicly, right? So that people can contribute whenever they see the things, right? So that's the best thing if you want, you if you are committed to security of your product, and if you want to improve it, right? But then again, that opens up, it says, or you are painting a target on yourself so that anyone can
Correct.
come and sue, right? So though that's a very good way, but then it may not be a very preferred way, because you are exposing yourself and you are inviting people to hit you, right?
Correct.
So that's where organized bug bounty hunting comes handy, where
Mhm.
you have a trusted partner who can invite or who can manage the reputed or skilled professionals or freelancers who can help you to find vulnerabilities in a very controlled manner, right? In
Yeah,
that
of
way we
course.
have,
Of course.
yeah, in that way we have the assurance that we know who are the people who are engaging, right? And whatever they find, they will, in all best intentions, they will share the findings with us rather than exploiting it,
Exploiting them. Correct. I think
right?
you're right on. I think the overall point is regarding security maturity, right? As a company becomes more security mature, they are also naturally becoming more popular and known in the market, right?
Oh
And as they
yes.
become more known in the market, naturally they will become a target towards malicious researchers, whatever I can call them. Um, so that's when the importance of a bug bounty really gets highlighted. And of course, while you're not in that target, having a structured private program makes a lot of sense, which is what many companies have adopted. And with regards to your point regarding shift left security, I think that's very important as well, because right now I know there are several startups trying to do that, but maybe from an AI perspective, that is certainly a possibility. But until you've not made something, how can you test it, right? That's my core kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
point. I mean, you've not made the flaw, how do you go about testing it and so on? But I
Right.
understand the way these people are looking at it, but that certainly never underscores the importance that humans are bringing with their level of creativity and their level of contextual understanding of a particular product to actually test it. And then that reveals those top 20% of vulnerabilities that no one else could find, but have such a high business impact on a company that they would cause all kinds of damage, right? So that is how I look at it, and that makes sense overall. So I move on to the next question, Ajit.
Yeah.
Um, since you've kind of discussed cyber threats in general at a great length, Um, in your opinion, and AI is the biggest buzzword right now, right? Okay, so AI hacker will come and play, and you can't do anything about it, and you need to implement all kinds of security controls. Security is often sold through fear, right? What do you think is one of the larger threats to the cybersecurity space today, and in the coming 10 years maybe, right? And what do you think are the top solutions that are being deployed to actually tackle these, right? What do you think about that for say an organization?
Okay. Okay. So the topmost thing that you will hear about, top three picks. Okay. So first is supply chain attacks,
Hmm.
right? So now this is picking up because the amplification of an attack, a simple attack, uh,
Hmm.
is very very what do you say, impactful. Okay,
Correct.
just leveraging one vulnerability at a company, if that is a major supplier for many other companies, just by exploiting that one vulnerability at one company. Okay, and the company distributes that compromised package to multiple uh, consumers of theirs, right?
Hmm.
The attacks get amplified,
Of
right?
course.
uh, so that's why this becomes a very very lucrative target for the
Hmm.
attackers to exploit, right? So that is one. Second thing is the ransomware.
Okay.
Okay, now because bitcoins and other cryptocurrencies makes receiving the payments anonymously very very easy anywhere
Hmm.
in the world, right? So that's why you have seen the ransomware attacks happening very very often, right? And that is going up. So last year there was a bit dip in that, maybe because of the value of bitcoin or whatever monero coin, but again in this year 2024 we are seeing that ransomware attacks are becoming rampant.
Back
Okay.
to where we are. Yeah.
Yeah, third is the phishing and social engineering. I will put them together. Okay,
Hmm.
so this is something which is really worrisome, because anyone can be targeted with phishing, right?
Hmm.
Attacker just needs your email, right? Or you can enumerate, if I take any domain name. Okay, I have to just enumerate with some names, do some social engineering, and you will so if I take a domain name, I will just have to find out where the company is located, and if it is India, then put up some Indian names at the rate that domain, and
Correct.
that might be a legitimate email ID, right? And then bombard them with phishing emails, and yeah, few will succeed, right? And then you can carry out some social engineering attacks, call their admins of that company, or send an email to the admin saying that I'm not able to log in, please reset my credentials, etc., right?
Hmm.
So now the phishing attack, why that is worrisome? Because anyone can be targeted, easily targeted. So much of OSINT is available. Second thing is, with the help of AI, you can craft very very convincing emails,
Of
right?
course. That's the
You can.
obvious thing that many people are doing already.
Yes, yes, yes. So these attacks are not only increasing; they are becoming increasingly successful,
Hmm.
right? So that's a worrisome thing. And no matter how much of simulations you do, how much of training you give to your people, right? People will click because that's our primary job. We access all the information by clicking through the links, right?
Correct.
So that's our second nature. People will click on the links, and if someone pops up a dialogue for asking your passwords and your MFA, you will give that, and yeah, accounts will be compromised, right? So these are the three major threats that I'm seeing. And there are solutions which are coming up, like for uh, if we talk about supply chain attacks. right? So people are more focused on the code that you are building,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the composition of the code there. So there are companies like Snake,
Mm-hmm.
etc., who will or there is Riscosity by
Mm-hmm.
a very good friend Anirban, right? So they are building products which can see the composition of your software, and if your software has libraries or open source components, and if they have any vulnerabilities, they will flag that out, right? So that
Okay.
whatever you are shipping is has, at least you know what vulnerabilities it has, what component it has, right? So that you can tackle the supply chain attacks well. But then
Got it.
we are seeing other type of attacks where your build
Mhm.
system itself is compromised, or if a user's laptop is
Okay.
compromised, then someone is able to push a malicious code into your build system, right?
Mhm.
And now if your build system is accepting that and then building it and then sending it out or deploying it on the cloud, okay, then again that will trigger some attacks. No one is paying attention to that,
Correct. And
right?
it's coming from certified vendor as well.
Correct,
So these
correct.
things get certified. No, it's very interesting to see these supply chain attacks coming in the play. And the level of importance that is being given to them is very large right now. Because
Yes.
companies have realized that, within their environment, chalo, theek hai, whatever they can control, they control. Till now, for their vendors, they were asking, okay, do you have ISO 27001? Do you have SOC 2 Type 2? If you do, great. But now they're having to get into the point wherein they're saying that, you know, uh, is your code actually secure? Are you shipping me secure code? Because that becomes a part of my product. And if that gets compromised, that is the end, right? I mean, that
Oh
kills
yeah,
the point of me building out a secure system on my own, right?
correct.
So these tools that are coming in, I know Rahul has also built out something similar in this
Oh
space,
yes, oh yes, CloudSec
wherein
is getting into this. Yeah,
yeah, CloudSec is also getting into this.
yeah.
Is coming becoming extremely important. And that's been highlighted by a lot of research that many people have done. And I think you are very deep into this space on your own as well, right? You've done a lot of research into that.
Yes, yes, doing some bits here and there, so yeah.
Yeah, I have to stay up to date. And then of course, ransomware, phishing, and social engineering. I think I think that's where I think a bit of your product also does help, right? Because I was talking to one of the senior leadership at Amazon, right? And,
Mhm.
and I was talking to them about phishing and social engineering, and they were saying the same thing that, of course, training humans is very important, right? It must be done. But we have so many people in this company, right? That how do I go about training all of them? So uh, at least I need to get to a point wherein I need to train a limited number of people so that the amount of data is being given to a smaller set of people, right? So even if somebody is getting compromised, they're not a high value compromise target, right? So on that end, implementing many privileged identity access management solutions, data protection solutions and just, having a principle of least privilege in place was established to be very important at, of course, even such a large company such as Amazon. And these are very fundamental things that still work, right? And there's no AI or anything that prevents you
Yeah,
that is able to bypass things like these. Which brings me to the next question. How did you, really transition from working at Citrix or any of the jobs that you were at to becoming a founder and, building out PureID with the exact product that you have out there in the world today? Why did you think that this was the challenge that you wanted to tackle? Very curious to understand.
yeah. So as you rightly pointed out, how that transition happened immediately after Citrix. So actually, the transition was happening during Citrix. So there were some undercurrents when I was at Citrix. Okay, so Citrix had suffered a massive password spring attack. So when I was there,
Mhm,
and not many people were aware because of my position, maybe,
mhm,
or because we were part of some team. I was aware of those attacks, right? And that kind of sparked a kind of urge for an innovation or urge to solve this problem in me, where
mhm,
I saw that why we got hacked, why Citrix got this attack, because we were having passwords on the server, and
mhm,
someone could randomly spray some passwords. Few of them worked, so they could access one server, and from there they could get onto another server. They could steal the stored keys or stored credentials and get onto another server, and then they
mhm,
could get into the entire network and then exfiltrate the data, sensitive data, personal data from that company, right?
mhm,
Which affected all of us, right? So that was the moment, or that was the time when I was I was compelled to create a solution for that. And I thought whatever knowledge I have amassed over 2 decades in the field of security and cryptography, I should put it to some good use, right?
Mhm.
So that thought was making me restless, and
Mhm.
honestly telling, I was not able to handle my job and the innovation. Uh, um, what do you say? Restlessness that was happening in the mind.
Yeah, of course.
It was becoming difficult for me to manage both the things. So I talked to my manager and I said, I want to pursue my innovation path. He
Mhm.
said, fine, I can help you in whatever way you want. And yeah, I said the first and foremost thing is I want to get into this. So let me go and pursue this. And he was very helpful. And that's when I came out. Uh, Started working on this. Many people helped, like Asim and Murtuza. They were very helpful
Mhm.
throughout. The PureID domain name itself was gifted to me by Prashant,
Oh,
right?
awesome.
Yeah, so KV Prashant. So all the people around me were very, very helpful.
Mhm.
Manu Zakaria, Akash Mahajan has been continuously mentoring me on how to build the company,
Mhm.
how you should be recruiting the people, right? How you should be getting the leads, etc. Right? Amol Naik, he said, I will buddy invest in this. Burgess Cooper, right?
Yeah.
All these people, right? Including our Subbu sir, Subramaniam Poda,
Mhm.
uh, our Smith Gonzalez,
Mhm.
Ajay Bayani. All these people were super awesome because I just jumped into it, right? And all these people were helping me in all the way possible. And because of uh, these people around me, I wouldn't have dared to do this. So because
Right.
these people were there in the network, I had a piece of, or I had the confidence that I should be able to do it well, right?
Mhm.
And I was always conversing with Rahul how to
Mhm.
do next, how to go next, right? So he used to guide me. Okay, now get the share agreement done, right?
Mhm.
Or pitch to some investors. Now this idea is looking refined. Go and talk to investors, and that's when Sid came on board. Sid said,
Mhm.
"Okay, I will invest in you," and
Mhm.
yeah, and that's when we started picking up the momentum. So net. The Pure ID is not just my innovation, but there are so many people around me who have helped me to pursue my dream and help in all possible ways. So these are all awesome people. I mean, it's their major contribution, and yeah, the exceptional team we had. Again, their contribution is major, but the moral strength came from all the people around me.
Of course, Ajit, I mean, you bring up these names, and I can go back and point out that every single one of the people that you have mentioned have helped me out in a very great way as well, right?
There
So,
are many other people I might have missed, and very sorry
yeah,
for
of
them.
course. No, no, no. That's
Many
what
people have
the
contributed.
Of course, I mean the journey is massive to take up starting a company, but the fact that the cybersecurity community has such a large supportive area around it
Oh yes,
is extremely valuable and extremely important, right?
right.
And it has helped many companies who are especially us, right? We did not have that enterprise background. We did not have that say network previously, right? That existed before, but jumping right in with Null, talking to everyone who was so helpful, and all of the people who have been a part of the security community have really helped us out. And I think the reason why everybody is helping out is that everybody does believe in the dream that okay, there are very skilled people here in India. Who can actually make global products, and India is not just a service-led economy,
Oh
and
yes,
they are actually excited about cybersecurity as a space. And if they can actually build something out that has global potential, right? Of course, and everybody would be uplifted together, right? It's not just one person who's selfishly winning the game. It is not such. It's similar to maybe the Israeli world, how it was maybe 20 years back, right? How many people have promoted each other and gone to the top. The Indian space
right.
is also trying something of the same sort, right? And in the long run, I do hope that it does, bring many good things to everyone, right? So, Ajit,
Yes.
just one final question, right, before we wrap up. I'm very curious to
Mhm.
understand, a bit about Pure ID, right, that you would like to tell the viewers about, what you do and what you do different from other identity and access management solutions, and how do you see your solution solving the current challenges that exist in the cyber landscape today. If you can conclude with that, and we will wrap this up.
Okay, sure. Thanks for giving me that opportunity to plug in something about PureID. Okay, so at PureID, we are providing just two things. So one is uh, identity, identifying a user, and second is secure access. So we
Mhm.
want to ensure that right person is able to access uh, the enterprise resources. So our aim is to protect the enterprise resources, right?
Mhm.
And how we do that? We have a product called Pure Auth. It's a single sign-on platform, and what we have seen is all the existing solutions in the market, they primarily use passwords to authenticate users. Now if you
Mhm.
give a right string, and if the solution can match the string with what it has in its database, it will identify you and it will get you in, right? So we thought that authentication shouldn't be that simple, right?
Mhm.
Now the problem here is if someone steals my password, it's easy. Someone can phish it, someone can steal it, or if the server gets hacked, then my passwords are leaked, right? So
Correct.
passwords are no way a secure method, and same goes with the MFA, right? MFA also works on shared secret, okay, or by pushing a push notification on your device, right?
Correct.
Which is again susceptible to many attacks like push fatigue attacks, etc. So we wanted to have something more secure in place, right?
Mhm.
So for that, we build a passwordless solution which
Mhm.
uses digital signatures to verify a user. And when we are verifying the user's identity with the digital signature, we also take the device context, what device you are using. Okay, whether
Mhm.
it's your personal device or a company provided device, how secure that device is. And we try to uh, score define a score for your device based on
Mhm.
its security status. Okay, so if you are accessing a critical application, let's say some servers on my Amazon, right, with let's say admin role, okay, and if your device is not patched properly, or if it is having some untrusted remote connections, then we say that okay, your device is not secure enough, so we'll not give you access as an admin, but we might give you access as a normal user, or we
Mhm.
can give you just a read-only access. So we
Mhm.
want to regulate access as well. Okay, so we identify users without passwords. Okay, and then we regulate your access based on the device risk that we see. So
Got it.
these are the two major things that we are providing to our customers.
Perfect, Ajit. That is very exciting to hear. I think resonates with me really. I don't want to maintain a password manager. It's just complicated. I'd rather not have passwords at all, right? That's the best way to proceed with anything at all. And I think that's really where the world is progressing. Nobody wants to opt for that password. So I think even from a UI perspective, it isn't the best. It can be much more optimized through signatures. How you're doing it, right? I think that's how everybody should be doing it. Everybody should be kind of using your product in the long run.
Yeah,
Um,
I wish people see that if you have a page which asks for
Mhm.
username and password, they should be seeing that as a biggest attack surface, and they should try to
Yeah,
eliminate that.
correct. I would
Right?
even look at it as a hindrance to accessing the website. Why am I not getting access to it faster? Right? Why do I have to
Correct.
put all that information in? But pleasure talking to you, Ajit. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was a pleasure having you. It was a pleasure hearing you, and I hope the viewers are enjoying this as well. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks, Dhruva. Thanks a lot. Your energy is very contagious, and I loved every bit of this podcast. Thanks, and I wish you all the best to your entire team. Thank you.
Thank you.